All right, great. I think everyone's connected to audio now. Welcome here. This is our Experience VCC online open house for April 2022. And you are joining the session for academic upgrading programs and courses at VCC. My name is Jen Giesbrecht. I work in the marketing communications department here at VCC. I am a writer and an editor. So if you've read anything on the website or any of our publications, chances are very good I put those words down, or at least made sure they were spelled correctly. I'm joined today by Diane. She's also from the marketing communications department, and she's going to be looking after the chat and sharing a lot of important links in the chat. So have that open. Before we begin the presentations, I want to acknowledge that Vancouver Community College is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, who have been stewards of this land from time immemorial. Academic upgrading, yes, and the Q&A will come later. I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Jill is from Adult Basic Education Youth Program. So this is for a certain age group, and it's regarding adult basic education. And so that's, well, I'll let Jill take that away and explain what that means. Thanks.
Thanks, Jen. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Yes, my name is Jill, and I'm here on behalf of the ABE Program for Youth, or ABE Youth, as we like to call it for short. We are a self-paced, individualized program for youth 15 and over. Generally, it's 18, 19, and we do have a little bit of capacity to help a few young adults up to 24, but it's really dependent on a person's situation and whether this program is the right fit or one of the other college upgrading programs in that age range. We offer academic upgrading primarily at the grade 10 level, math 10, science 10, social 10, and English 10. And then we have a few options at the 11 and 12 equivalency options as well. Students come to us for all kinds of reasons, whether they've been missing school for a little while, they're trying to finish a course for high school, they are wanting to get into another program. So lots of reasons why someone might come to us. We have a classroom that is off campus, and we have instructors here to give a lot of support. So that's one thing that we can do very well, is make sure that each person gets a lot of time from an instructor. We're very flexible in how someone might take our courses. You can come into the classroom and get support from us in person, or you may choose to work online with your courses and get support from instructors through our online platform or through Zoom. And some people do a little bit of both. They might work at home a couple of days, they might come into the classroom. So there's a lot of flexibility to accommodate what works best for the students. All of our courses can be transferred either back to a high school graduation if you're still trying to graduate on a high school dogwood, or towards an adult graduation, or towards another program in the college if you are trying to get elsewhere. So lots of options for that. And let's see. We have flexible start dates, so we can bring students in each month, with the exception of July and August when we're closed, but you can start anytime. You don't have to wait for a specific term to start. And you can come in at times that work best for your schedule. We're generally here Monday to Thursday, 9 to 3, and we can work with your schedule with whatever else you have going on to accommodate your time in school. And yeah, that's the ABE Youth Program in a nutshell, and I'll let my colleagues tell you more about their program offerings.
Thanks, Jill. It's a great facility you guys have there on Fraser Street. Okay, let's talk about academic upgrading grade 10 to 12 self-paced. KJ will be presenting, and Faiza might be able to answer some questions in the chat. Her microphone's not working very well right now, but take it away, you guys.
Thanks, Jen, and welcome everybody. And thanks, Jill. Self-paced is very similar to what Jill was describing, except for above ABE Youth. So it's self-paced individualized learning, which means you can start almost any time. And if you finish more quickly than the formats that you're registered for, that's awesome, no problem. We are also closed in December and part of the summer, depending on what course that you're taking. So it's for academic upgrading if you want to get better marks in order to get into a program that you're interested in, or if you need to finish high school. So our courses are grade 10 to grade 12, English, math, and there are some science options, as well as computer skills and also access to careers in education. So I'll talk first about the math, science, and English options. Just like Jill's program, we're trying to offer a lot of options for students. There are some students that would prefer to continue to work online. So all of our courses are online, and you don't have to ever come to campus if you don't want to, especially if you live remotely. By the way, maybe we're speaking to everybody in this session, but also let your friends know and your neighbors and strangers. Spread the word that if you want to go back to school, we have lots of options for you, and we want to remove any barriers. So for those who might not live in the immediate area and can't come to campus, you can study completely online. You can, for self-paced Broadway, you can meet your instructor by appointment. And we also have some drop-in times as well in the classrooms where you can just come in and ask a question or just have a study space or a computer to use. Let me see, for math and English, we do like to have you do an assessment. That's so we can place you correctly. Even if you have finished a certain grade in high school, maybe it was a long time ago, we want to make sure that we can fill in the gaps and so that you can get the good grades that you need. And so if you are interested in the program for math or English, we'll have you do an assessment. We'll also ask you some background information questions to find out why you're studying and what your goals are. So computer skills, we do have a computer lab. Those courses are also online, and we are having some exciting new courses coming up. And we also have a computer lab that's open from 3:30 to 6:30, Monday to Friday. So you can drop in and use the computers here and get help from an instructor. And then finally, we do have access to careers in education courses. If you're looking to retrain or get a job or just practice communication in the workplace, there's lots of great courses there. So I think that's everything. Yeah, and I'm open to any questions at the end of the session. I think that's it for me.
Great, thanks, KJ. Yeah, it's never too late to get those grades you've always wanted, right? Okay, let's go to Larry now. We'll talk about humanities class-based academic upgrading.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, KJ. Welcome, everyone, to the online version of Experience VCC. I'm speaking to the humanities upgrading classes. The difference between CCA, about which KJ was just speaking, is that we have specific times that you will need to attend. So Monday, Tuesday classes, maybe from 10:30 to 12:30. Humanities courses include English, law, and psych, and we are offering only grade 12 versions of those courses. Generally, the classes are occurring in person, which means you will attend the class in person. For the summer at least. In the fall, who knows, if we get another plague, we may need to change our strategy, but most of our humanities classes will be in person. In terms of assessments, we do not do assessments for English, psych, or law. Instead, if you have finished grade 11 English, for example, you can register yourself directly into grade 12 English. Law and psych have grade 10 English requirements as well. So those, you wouldn't need to go for an assessment, but you certainly could if you wanted to, verify the level you're at. I think that's about all I have to say for this section. Jen Kelly will continue with College Foundation's math and science overviews.
Great, thanks, Larry. So yes, I'm the department head for science, but I'm also going to speak about math today for my colleague Natasha, who's not with us. And so we have, for math first, we have class-based grade 10, 11, and 12 math classes. And we have those both in the daytime and evening. So hopefully you can find one that suits your schedule. And those all meet for 8 hours a week. So either 2 4-hour evening sessions or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for 2 hours at a time. Similarly, for science, we have biology, chemistry, and physics, but just at the grade 11 and 12 levels. So if you're looking to take science 10, you would do that in a self-paced format, and then you could come over to us if you like for the grade 11 and 12. And again, that's biology, chemistry, and physics 11 and 12. We do lots of hands-on labs. And for biology 11, we have some great field trips. And so we are offering all of that in person, at least in the summer. And the plan is to do so in the fall. We have been offering some hybrid courses for our upgrading classes, but students seem to be really happy to be back in the classroom. And so we're sticking with that for now. And like I said, we do have so many of these different hands-on activities that seems to just work the best. It's really not easy to learn to do a titration for chemistry or a dissection for biology by looking at someone doing it. So we're very happy to have everyone back. And our classes start in May. For part 1, our classes are only kind of 2 parts. So part 1 runs May, June, part 2 runs July, August, and then we start over again in September with part 1 and then part 2 in November. You can obviously register right away for those May classes, and then our registration for September classes opens up on June 23rd. I think that's it. Please feel free to ask me any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Jen. Our next presenter is Chantel from Basic Education. Thanks for joining us. Take it away.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Chantel, and I'm the department head for Basic Education. And you've heard lots of information about the different courses that we offer for grade 10, 11, and 12. And it's common sometimes that if people have been away from school for a long time, or if you left school around grade 10, there might be some gaps before grade 10 that you'll want to fill in before you try those higher level courses. And so if that's the case, then you'd come to us and we can help out with that. We provide courses right from a very beginner level up to grade 9 in English and math and computers. And we try to offer as many flexible options for you as possible in terms of scheduling. So we have morning classes, afternoon classes, and evening classes. And also in terms of how we deliver our classes. So if you're somebody who really wants to learn online, we can meet your needs. If you're somebody who really needs to be in person, we can meet your needs. And if you like both, we can meet those needs as well. So lots of flexibility to make sure that you're getting what you need. Our classes are Mondays through Thursdays, and we offer self-paced, where you're doing kind of more independent individual study for math. And our English classes are mostly group-based, so you'd be with a bunch of peers who are learning the same topics and same levels as you. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those in the chat. One more thing I'll mention too is if you have more questions and want to talk to me one-on-one in person, I'm always here on Wednesday mornings in my office in 2713, and you're welcome to just drop in even without an appointment, and we can talk more about what your goals are, and I can answer questions and help you get registered and that kind of stuff if that's what you're interested in. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, Chantel. Yeah, at VCC, I've learned from working here that there's any number of reasons why someone hasn't finished school, hasn't gotten the high school grades they needed. And there is every opportunity for you guys to get those at VCC, starting from basic education in Chantel's department up to those advanced sort of biology, chemistry courses in Jen's department, and then beyond into the VCC programs. So I'm going to ask you guys about that a little bit more in a minute. But I wanted to share the upcoming info session. So today we're having an open house and Experience VCC, just a taste of what all you guys offer. But on Monday, April 25th, Wednesday, May 11th, Adult Upgrading is having a more intense info session. And this is about an hour where you're going to be able to talk to these instructors or maybe some others about more specifics in these programs. Okay, so now we've come to the Q&A portion. I want to ask one of anyone who wants to answer, but I'm thinking specifically of KJ and Jen, and what VCC programs, what college programs do you see your students entering after they've upgraded a lot of the time? Personally, I have a friend who's gone into nursing after upgrading at VCC, and she's in her second or third year now. I'm so proud of her. She's amazing. So what have you seen?
For us, we have a lot of students who are interested in health professions. So we have students who go into nursing, dental hygiene, the practical nursing program, as well as the Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. But we also have had students go on to engineering and computing science. All of these are programs that we offer in university transfer. And then students have then moved on to UBC, SFU, and other institutions. But I recently had a student who got into midwifery at UBC, which was pretty cool. I have some students who did upgrading with us and are applying to medical school. I have some who are working in environmental fields, and those are just the ones I know about. So really a whole range of professions and further education that people move on to. How about you, KJ?
Yeah, I would concur. A lot of students wanting to go into nursing or trades. Sometimes, for example, in our department, you only need the grade, if you get your grade 10 English or math, to go on to trades or other VCC programs where you need grade 10. And like Jen, I've seen students go to other institutions. I wrote a reference letter yesterday for someone who's going into at UBC for film production. So really whatever you need to upgrade to reach your dreams and your goals, that you're able to do that.
Thanks. How about Larry? Have you seen students go on to amazing things?
I've yet to convert someone to study English Lit, probably because it's not the most, economically feasible job. But one of the students, of course, everything that KJ and Jen have listed, those are the most common. But I've had a student who was from Afghanistan, moved here about 5 years ago, and that person went into criminology at SFU in order to begin their career as an RCMP officer. So that was pretty awesome. We have people going into education at SFU and UBC. So it's quite a diverse group of people. It's pretty awesome that way.
Are people mostly older and changing careers in the middle of their lives?
Yeah, it's a mixture. Yeah, it's a really good question. We have students from, just finishing high school who were born in the 2000s, which is still weird. But I know, but we also have students who are, I think, mature as anything over 30 years old nowadays. So it's generally the younger population for ABE and UT.
We have had students in their 70s, and I'm thinking of one person in particular that didn't finish high school, and it was always her dream to finish high school. So she's working on that. So very flexible.
If I can chime in there, that reminds me of we have a student in our computer class who is also an elder, and her mobility is kind of decreasing, and she's looking ahead to the future where maybe one day she won't be able to walk as much, but she wants to be able to use the computer so that even if she is in a wheelchair, she'll still have the whole world at her fingertips. If the day comes when she's kind of more in a care home and not able to go out and explore the world, she'll still have the computer skills to be able to engage with the world. And so that's why she's taking computers with us, which I thought was really awesome.
These are great stories. I love storytelling time. Yeah, in the meantime, let's talk about tuition. I know in 2017, I believe, the provincial government took away tuition fees for adult upgrading. So how much can people be expected to pay out of pocket for these programs and courses? Let's start with Jen Kelly.
Our classes, ABE classes, are tuition free. There are some fees. So if you're taking on-campus classes, you'll be charged for the U-Pass, which is the bus pass. It's a reduced cost bus pass, but everyone has to pay for it. It's $40 some a month. I can't remember if it's 42 or 43. It's in there. There are also some student union fees and a couple of other fees that are not tuition, they're just the other fees. The good news, besides the fact that there's no tuition, is that you can apply for various grants, including the adult upgrading grant. And maybe someone can put the link to that application in the chat. If not, I'll do it afterwards. And so you are able to get a lot of costs covered, including, depending on your income, transportation costs can sometimes be covered, textbooks, although many of our textbooks are available for you to just borrow for the term. So yeah, definitely, if you're thinking of taking upgrading classes, you should also be thinking about applying for that grant.
And yeah, everyone else is in the same boat, right? Regarding tuition, tuition-free programs, but other costs associated, like the UPass, like the student union costs, textbooks, things like that. Be prepared for those costs. Yeah, when you don't have to pay tuition, that's a real plus. That's something that it wasn't always like that. So it's really great right now that it is that way. Oh, here's a question in the chat from Winnie. I was interested in taking some science courses self-paced. I was wondering if it would require going to campus to do any laboratory work.
That's a great question for FISA, but I know FISA, there we go. I could maybe just read it out. Her microphone's not working that well today. So FISA says we offer courses online as well as in person. So students can do our science courses completely online if they want to. So there's no requirement to come to campus. COVID taught us many things, and including how to provide lab work online. So there's the option for you. You can either come in sometimes or come in never or come in all the time. Completely up to you how you want to do that.
Is there like a benefit to the lab, to doing lab work on campus though? I mean, I imagine having an instructor there with hands-on projects, or how does that work with the online stuff?
We're certainly encouraging students to come on campus. It's a little hard if you've been away for a long time. Even our faculty, it's been hard for them to come back. And I talked to somebody last week who really didn't want to come back. She was so comfortable at home, but she said, I'm coming back at least one day a week, and it's really good for my mental health, just to see people and just feel more normal. And people are 3D, they're not 2D. So yeah, I would definitely say that there is an advantage to coming in person and doing a physical lab right there and asking questions from the instructor. But we want to make it accessible for anybody, regardless of your comfort zone around coming back from COVID. But even when COVID's mostly not an issue for us, you still have the option to work from home or come on campus.
Has anyone noticed students from farther away, distance-wise, taking courses because they're online? I don't know, maybe Winnie, you live far away, and it would be a hassle to come to campus. I'm not sure, maybe that's why you're asking.
We have a student who was with us before the pandemic in person and then ended up going back to his family in India and has remained in India. So he's actually working with us online from India. So we're working with time change and and he's pretty much just working at his own. It's tricky to coordinate the timing, but we make it work. Somebody was just Zooming with him this morning. So yeah.
So he would have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident though, right? To access these upgrading programs for free. Yeah, these aren't for international students necessarily. Although maybe who is here, Angela, can speak to options for international students for upgrading if there are any.
There are specific requirements for international students when it comes to taking upgrading courses because you will need to maintain a full-time status. But regardless of what you need, let us know and we can have some discussions regarding what you might need to meet the admission requirements at VCC. Thanks.
Thanks, Angela. Yeah, lots of great opportunities for international students at VCC.
I just wanted to share something with all of the folks who are listening. It is possible to take courses in the different programs. So I've had students take law at in Humanities while taking courses at ABE Youth. I've had other students go to CCA and do other courses. I have a student now doing Math 12 with FISA's group. So it is possible for students to take a course in multiple places if it works with the requirements and the timing and scheduling. But I just wanted to mention that it's not exclusive. There are options that you can take in other program areas amongst the upgrading. So something to consider.
Yeah, so let's say someone's working towards dental hygienist prerequisites here. They could take one of the self-paced things over here, one of the class-based things over here, and depending on their schedule, make it all work and add it up to admissions in a college program, or for your career, or just your high school diploma, if that's what you're going for. I wanted to ask a random question of Jen, and you might not be able to answer it. I always put you on the spot, I know, in these sessions, but I was walking down the science hallway yesterday. There were students in the hallway with tuning forks, sitting. One was sitting in the chair, the other one was standing behind and like hitting the tuning fork above their head. And I asked them, they were very busy, I didn't want to bother them, but I asked them, are you in the music program? And they was like, no, we're in science. What were they doing?
That's part of our senses lab that we do a version in grade 12 biology, which is anatomy and physiology. And we also do it in biology 1120, which is our university transfer anatomy and physiology. And so there's this thing, they have their eyes closed and then someone's doing the tuning fork and they're trying to do sound localization. We have this whole lab about sort of sensory perception. And so we play with different senses. And yeah, that was part of it. It's a really fun lab. It's everyone's favorite, except maybe the lab demonstrators who have to set it up because it's pretty epic because there's like 20 stations that they do. But yeah, it's a fun one.
Anyone else have highlights from the programs, things that the students might particularly enjoy when they study certain topics?
There's a question in the chat about
Is there any computer or coding courses in this available?
There will be. We have a new employee in the computer skills area, and he's coming up with all kinds of ideas about different courses. Students at the grade 10 to 12 level can take computer courses that count for credit towards their graduation or just for their own improvement. So yes, he will be, it's on his list of courses to create, but there will be in the future some coding courses and graphic courses and all kinds of things. So anybody that's interested in computers or self-paced could email the department cca@vcc.ca, and we can send you any specific information that you need about specific courses, or as Jen said, there are some upcoming info sessions if people would like to ask more specific questions or get more specific information.
Mm-hmm. And so those computing and coding courses are at a high school level, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Because I know VCC also has networking and computing courses, programming and things like that available at a college level as well. So Clara, if you're interested in any of that stuff, we can let us know too. We can share that.
Can I just mention about the upgrading grant? Also is just that there are some income levels specified. It's tied to income. But if you look at it and go, oh, I make slightly too much money, it's worth applying anyway. You may get a slightly reduced amount, but it's a grant. It's not a loan. So it's free money essentially. And so it's totally worth your time to apply. Even if you think, oh, I'm kind of on the cusp, I might not quite be eligible, do it anyway.
So at VCC, we take a lot of pride in supporting our students with so many different services. We mentioned the advising services. So we have that drop in, Diane shared it again there, so it's right in front of you. Drop in to ask about how to get into certain programs, basically, and what the programs involve. You can also go to our advising services page and book a session for yourself in the future. Those are always available. VCC offers lots of scholarships and bursaries to support your, so in this academic upgrading context, the the grant is probably what you want to go for first. But in other sorts of programs and things where you're paying tuition, take a look at VCC scholarships and bursary opportunities. We have a fabulous Indigenous Education and Community Engagement Department with Indigenous advisors. And in VCC's process of Indigenization and decolonization, we offer a lot of opportunities for Indigenous students as well, in terms of enrollment and support. So look into that. If you have a disability, you are more than welcome at VCC. And we take a lot of pride in supporting people with disabilities, whether visually impaired, deaf, hard of hearing. And if you have a disability that you think maybe will get in the way of completing a certain program, our office makes it their job to make sure that it doesn't get in the way of completing your program. We have lots of success stories around that too. Ideally, you let us know a few months in advance though, if accommodations are needed for that. We've got free counseling and free professional tutoring at VCC, something that a lot of students really appreciate, take advantage of. If you've got a program in mind, please go ahead and apply. Like I said, the application fee of $35 is waived for the next little while after this session. I'll give you that code at the end. If you're still not sure, if you want to talk to some instructors about a certain program to get more details, you can attend an information session like we posted, or like I said, meet with an advisor.
Jen, there's one more question about how self-paced courses
For
work.
sure, we've got a bit of time.
So if KJ is still
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I am. So all of the courses are on what we call Moodle. It's a learning management platform. So everything is there. So it might include some videos. It might include some text, lots of information. It's all there organized really well, but you are matched up with a teacher. And so once you meet your teacher, you could set up a meeting if you need orientation to the course. And then the teacher will help you. You can study. The great thing about studying online or studying on Moodle, as long as you're motivated, and you have to be motivated because it's really easy to procrastinate. That's the downside of it. But you can be working on your course at any time of the day or night that you're available, and reach out to your teacher by email, or if you want a phone call or a Zoom call, that will be fine. But you are basically working on your own with all the materials online with the support of the teacher when you need it. So yeah, so some video depends on the course and depends what the content is that you're studying. Does that answer your question, Yuho?
Yeah, I said thank you very much. Happy face. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you around campus.